Alright, guys. So I started the recording. So the question: does testing have future? I see somebody by the initials SP has joined. How are you?
That's me, Seema.
Oh, Seema.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Hmm, yeah. So the question: does testing have a future?
Brijesh, maybe I can start. Guru here.
Yeah, Guru.
I think answer is both yes and no. Yes, because testing is really huge. I mean, if you think about the future set of technology, how the technology is evolving, the kind of testing needed for like B2C or B2B applications like security, performance, all of that aspects, if we think towards that, and also AI and ML is also getting into picture, so how we can test those kind of applications. So if we learn and evolve over a period of time, then definitely it will be a rewarding career. But if we are just stick to only one particular of technology, be it like only selenium automation or maybe protractor automation, then maybe the career may not be as rewarding as thinking broadly and getting into different aspects of testing. And also I think as a tester can also have different career path, like tester can become a domain expert, he can also become a scrum master, and tester can also contribute to the product management. So it's not only related to the testing, right? It's all about how the tester is adding value to the organization.
Okay. Yeah, that's reasonable. But I have a follow-up question to that, Guru. Why should we have this doubt whether testing has a future or not? What is it that is causing this doubt to creep in?
I
Because,
think maybe
because I
learning.
get this question at a good frequency. Every few days there is somebody asking this question, and if I probe a little more, they have been in testing for some time, and still they get this doubt. So the question is, why this doubt?
In my experience, what I have seen is that especially product based organizations, where there is a radical shift towards full stack kind of concept, where they typically expect a QA engineer or a tester to get into be it middle tier development or back end development or front end UI development, where testers are kind of, I mean, the quality is not focused much. The organization is driving towards everyone should be able to do everything, that kind of concept. So at that point in time, I think if there is a tester, definitely there will be less focus for quality and anything related to testing. So maybe that will put the tester in a position to think, is there a career in testing? That is one aspect which I am thinking. And secondly, learning aspect, right? Like if you are doing only one set of work continuously over a period of time, then that doubt will come into anyone's mind. Will that sustain for next 3 years, 5 years, or 8 years?
Okay. Anybody else?
Brijesh, I would like to chip in over here.
Yeah.
And I think the answer is simple. If the testers who are willing to upskill, they would survive. And the ones who don't want to upskill, they will have maybe some sort of difficulty, or maybe they will have the jobs, but they won't get good increments or the respect actually which they want to have from their teams, clients, and all. Right? And for example, take the example of Srinivas sir. Right now, he's a QA director, right? Yesterday, I saw that he was attending the Cypress seminar which Naveen was hosting on his channel, right? And as a QA director, he could have easily skipped it, right? I am a QA director. Why I need to be hands-on person, right? And I have a team. I'll ask them to attend the sessions and do all the work. I won't learn new stuff that is coming in the market. So I think we should, if a person is hands-on, willing to explore new areas, then I don't think that we will have a difficult time. But yes, regarding what the earlier person, sorry, I forgot to see their name. I think he was
Guru. It was Guru.
Guru. Yeah, when Guru was saying that regarding the concept that everybody should know everything. So isn't it that developers will also have a hard time over there, because they are also expected to know everything, that right from front end, back end, database, cloud, all the things they are expected to know. In that case, some people can be uncomfortable as well, right? I don't want to do everything, and even testing as well. So yes, there is some shift, but I think there are some exceptions, and maybe in due course of time they will realize that quality has its own importance, and some specialists are required for it.
Okay. So, so for somebody who started their career, already and has been doing stuff for say 10 years, I think that it is, they are looking at the future and they're thinking, oh, do I have enough opportunities for me now? So that's the thing. But people, I mean, one thing I'm finding it really difficult to understand is why should uh, I be in a situation, or what is the situation that is prompting this doubt to creep in? Is it
Uh,
is it the environment? Is it the company culture? What is it?
but just not sure. But like, if I talk about developers, right? When we start in a project team of around, if the team size is 10, right? Approximately 7 to 8 people will be developers. And in a company of around 5,000 people, around 4,000 will be developers. And how many CTOs we have? How many VP technologies we have? Right? All the developers don't transit to these roles, right? So why, as a tester, we think that there are less opportunities for testers going forward? Because all the developers don't transit to architect role or the VP, VPs, CTOs. All the developers don't transit to that role as well.
Okay, so um, anybody else wants to share their thoughts?
Brijesh, I would like to share my thought on this. Uh, what I have observed so far is that since many technologies are coming into market, especially in engineering domain, what I'm seeing is that now most of the design software has been moved to cloud. So the technology is getting complex, and more human approach is required in order to test these softwares. For example, if an engineer, if a mechanical engineer face some issues when he is designing an engine, then that's it. When it is going to manufacturing, then that's all. It would be boomed. All the manufacturing parts will be collapsed. So the impact is really huge. So if they consider the impact, then they will realize that testing is really important. So I'm feeling that they should realize from the impact what it is going to make when once software is going into the hands of such engineers. So it's about users. Once they able to categorize about the different types of users that they were going to use the software, what are all the problems that they are facing, we should be in a position to find those problems and report those to developers to fix it. So this is the this is the thought from my end, Brijesh.
Okay, thanks, Balaji. Anybody else wants to talk about it? The question really is, why is there a doubt? Okay, first, in two parts. Okay, is there a future for testers? And secondly, why is there a doubt if there is a future or not? So, Anyone wants to talk about it?
Hi, Brijesh. Shefali.
Shefali,
Okay. So we have two questions here. That why we have a doubt for the future of testing. People who have this doubt is because of the environment that we have today, of the interactions that we have with people. So if we interact with people like, I am into this part of testing, I am involved with this part of testing. So their first question would be why you are not learning a tool that is doing automation. Okay, why you are not getting involved with these technologies that are there in the market. So it is like nobody is questioning about the importance of testing. Nobody is questioning about how much involved you are with testing. The market now wants to know that how many tools actually Okay, so everything that is going around in the market is just around the tools. So people have forgotten about testing, and people who have doubt are actually having doubts because they are like, if they do not learn the tools, the upcoming technology, or the present technology that is there, they will lag behind, they will not have any future. So because of all the things that is happening around us, I think that is having a huge impact. Because of the JDs that we go through nowadays, it is all about automation. Nobody talks about testing in those JDs, if that is a role even of a QA. So if we talk to the HRs, if we talk to the managers, so if I talk about my current organization as well, nobody is talking about testing, to be honest. So I have to be the one who has to remind them that I have a role here to do, and you should take it seriously. And if you think that somebody else can do that part, then please, you are most welcome to go and assign that part to someone who is ready to do that. So it is all a combined thing, I would say. And of course then it depends on the individual as well. So if you are believing that you do not have any future because you are a tester, so that is one part of it, that why you have to believe in that. You have chosen a line for a reason, you are doing testing for a reason. So if you want to be associated with it, you have to try your hands. And I mean, you have to get adopted to different things. Why not? I mean, there's no harm in that. So it's okay.
all right. Anyone else? Sachin, Amuthan, Seema. Anybody else wants to talk about it?
Yeah,
Sachin?
yeah, I can add a few things. Uh, First of all, I think that like people think that testing is going somewhere or it will not stay for long. That same thing is for anything that we are doing. Okay, everybody who is doing something is going to end sometime. I'll give you an example. So if we see this Ramayan and Mahabharat, those serials, there was these two people who were going to, you know, they were one on either side of king, and they were just uh, using this pankha to give air to king, right? Those two people. So they were doing some job, and let's say they are doing it, but after a few time, people says that okay, when there will be electric fan, your job will, you will not, you'll not need it, because what you are doing is you are doing this with this pankha. The point is, same goes with, and yesterday I had this air condition servicing through urban company, and there also this a guy came. What these people are talking about, that we are doing same thing, but we are doing with jack machine, we are doing with this tool, we use this particular technology. Okay, we are working on this particular new thing. So my point is, if you are a tester, if you're testing with those orthodox techniques, if you still have that mindset of writing 1,000 test cases and then doing, then it's a problem. So I would say that the chances of the chances that the testing will not be there, but testers will be there if they will start improving themselves. And that need to be educated within the community first, within the testers, that they should feel that testing will not go anywhere if you will work on the track of implementing some of the new things, so that people can ask you to do same thing but in a different way, or maybe in an advanced way. That is important to educate, and people need to be cognizant about that. We have to not only improve the way we are working, we also have to improve what we are working for, how we are working on it. That is I think that is important. And a lot of people on YouTube, they are focusing on automation and different tool, not only automation of the test cases but automation of multiple things. And I think that is what we call advancement in any of the industry. I think we should look positive towards the implementation of new technology tools and everything.
So you
That
are
is
saying that there's no harm in learning these tools, techniques, technology.
No, of course. Like in one of the interview I heard, Michael Bolton said that tools will amplify whatever you do. If you do wrong testing, it will amplify your wrong testing. If you do right testing, it will amplify. So eventually we have to amplify things that we know, advancement of things. If you have good understanding, take tool as your friend or as your, you know, assistants, I would say, and then try to do what you know. If you know right thing, you will definitely get help from them. If you do not know how to test, a fool with tool is still a fool. So that will not help.
That final sentence says it all. Um, any other opinions on this subject? Amuthan, eager to hear from you, buddy.
Yeah, hi Brijesh, hi everyone. I was just joined the session. I was listening to some of the things mentioned by Shefali and Sachin. Yeah, they sounded very similar to my thoughts as well. What I think is, right, when we get these kind of dilemma, right? So we, maybe we are not technically capable. Again, everything revolves around our technical skills, right? So I never get this thought. Okay, I may be kicked out of my company at some point of time, because right, I can bring values one form of or another, right? If someone has if there is no testing needed, okay, I can create test cases automation test cases. I can do Jenkins management, right? I can do Oracle management, right? I can do some support things, right? I can do a lot of things. I can do unit testing. I know coding, right? I can also learn Android. I know a little bit of Android. I can learn more and then contribute on Android development, right? So since I know Java, I can also learn some Spring Boot or some other technologies, and I can also do Java development, right? So as long as we can do something or other, so I know my business as well, right? So it doesn't mean you have to only contribute in terms of your automation skills or performance testing or whatsoever. You can also learn more about your business, right? Try to become a product owner or a business analyst or a technical consultant who is an expert in this particular area, right? So there is always demand for people with highly good skill set, right? So it's always there. Only you will get these kind of thoughts if you are lagging the skills, right? So I would highly suggest anyone who is having this kind of dilemma, start preparing yourselves for the future, right? You should be in a position to add value in one form or the other to the organization, right? So the fear will get away from you. That's what that's what I recommend, right? So when I joined Cognizant, maybe 5 years back as a fresher, everyone told in my project, okay, testers cannot go in onsite within 4 years, 5 years, right? I went to onsite when I was like 1 year and 5 months, right? So I broke all the things, right? So if there is something that people tells, okay, you cannot do this, testers cannot be paid more than developers, all these jargons, break them, right? Get something more, do something more, prove that your worth, and then break all those things. Okay, so that's what I would recommend. So if you're technically capable, you will never get this fear. You can contribute in one way or another. That's how I see this problem. So unless we realize this ourselves, I think this dilemma will be there. Testers will be paid less than the developers. uh, Again, we will have all this fear. So they are telling testing will go away for almost 2 decades now. Still, we are having this debate. We will have this debate even after 10 years, but testing will still be there. Only the competent people will survive, and others, they need to scale up, or they will, they will work in the same company. If you're like to switch a job in India, you cannot find a manual testing job, right? Maybe one in very few. That too demands the immediate joining, right? That too expects a specialization in insurance or banking domain. So go and see the job portals, what company demands. If you are not scaling ourselves, definitely you have to end your life in the same company. So that's the truth. That's the hard truth. We have to realize that we need to upskill ourselves, and then this fear should go away, right? That's what I want to register here.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Diversify your skill set. Be capable than just doing the same stuff or being stuck at it for a long time. I think that's a good message. And to be honest, 2008 when the recession came, a lot of people lost their jobs, but somehow the testers survived. Okay, honestly, and I'm talking about India because I was in India and I saw it go right past us, and not a single tester was moved out of any team. Developers got moved out. They got pink slips. They were asked to leave. Okay, but testers stayed. Testing will stay. Okay, we are like uh, I'm not sure if you will like this term, but testers are like cockroaches. They'll survive the ice ages, so we'll survive. Okay, so cockroaches, they have been living for millions of years. Ice ages could not do anything to them. They're still there. They will always be there. So we are like that. Okay, only thing is that we have to develop new skills. If you see over a period of so many years, thousands of years, the cockroaches have evolved. Now they can do all sorts of things. They can swim, they can fly, they can do everything. Right, so that's what I think. Seema, your take on this subject. You've been there listening.
I was
Smiling.
wondering if we were cockroaches, where's the bacon spray? Morning. Yeah, I was keeping quiet because I'm still waking up. I'm in still wake up mode. So, right. Technology getting complex. A lot of new things coming, everything on the cloud, true. But the same thing applies to developers, same thing applies to different kind of roles. They have to evolve as well. So with every new technology, every type of role evolves. So we also have to evolve. It's not specifically a tester problem. Yeah, very few people go higher up the ladder, but that's again true for every role. Not every developer becomes an engineering manager or a CTO. Not every product UI UX developer becomes goes to the C level. Every time the pyramid gets narrower, only some are interested. It's not because not everyone is capable. It's mostly because the very few people really want to take on that kind of responsibility, or only few people want to really do that kind of job. So it's not specific to testers. It applies to everybody. We have, just like how developers have to learn to code, testers have to know to test. Then everything else adds on, like what Sachin said or what Amuthan said. Everything else is a layer on top of testing, whatever tools it is. The tools will keep changing. It's one layer on top of another layer on top of another layer. It's an evolution. But testing should not disappear. So when we say only manual testing, that's also wrong, because you have to have testing, manual or not. Tools will add on top of it, and then we start growing. Most often, I find as testers, we limit ourselves of what we can do and what we can achieve. I've seen that quite often among people around me. Very few people want to take on and understand further of the technologies that are there. They want to learn on a very superficial level, and also very quick to complain. And I think that's where we need to change and stop thinking that testing has no future. Until there is technology, there is testing, and it'll keep going on. We just have to find a way of making ourselves very valuable to what is happening around us. And that applies to any other role. It's not testing specific. But get your foundation right. You have your foundation of testing right, everything else you can build on top of it.
Seema, there is something that happened in our conference a few years ago. So I was talking to this gentleman, and he told me, "Oh, you are in testing for about 18, 19 years now. How far can you go? Okay, in the ladder, how far can you go is the question he asked me." And then I said, I can possibly become a CEO. He said, "No, you can't." That was his answer. So I said, "Well, why do you think so?" Then he said, "No, most of the CEOs are people from sales." So then I asked him, "What makes you think that I don't know sales?" Is the question that I asked him. I know about software, I know about testing, I know how to sell testing. I can sell testing, become a sales guy, and grow up. If you think that
you don't have to know sales to become a CEO, and
I know
I know who have become CEOs who were testers at the beginning, who've become CEOs and are doing amazingly well.
I know, because he brought in the angle of sales guy. So I challenged him that how does he know? Then that sparked a debate, because that's where testers can diversify. And as Amuthan was saying, you can do a lot of things. If you consider yourself just to be a tester, okay, doing writing some test cases and executing them over and over.
The same people who keep saying testing has no future are the ones who think that they can become a Scrum Master or a product owner. Where do you think that confidence comes from, right? They have that confidence because they are able to because they are able to understand various aspects of development or software, and that confidence is what is making them think about, oh, can I become a Scrum Master? Can I become a product owner? Can I become a whatever the other roles are? But your basics remain. That's is your window to everything else. Sorry, I put it in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Now, a good point raised. Okay, I am a tester. Can I become a Scrum Master?
Why not?
Why should I? It's a question that I'll ask again.
It's totally
you are saying that testing has no future, and that's
to ask this question.
When you become a Scrum Master, the first thing you'll think about is there's no testing in this team. Can I bring testing in?
Okay, that's wisdom. Guru, so somebody was saying something, was breaking up really badly. Sachin, you are the agile expert. So I'm a tester. Can I become a Scrum Master?
Can you become? Yes, you can. But why you want to become a Scrum Master?
Yeah. Okay. Because it's lucrative. Scrum Masters don't do anything. They just chill out. They just update Jira boards. That's why.
That is the problem.
They take powerful decisions along with the PO. That's why.
Yeah. You know what? This very opinion that you have is, and I know you're just saying because you want to interpret what other people are saying, and that's what most of them talk about Scrum Master. And the problem is because of this 2 days Scrum Master training. Okay, this Scrum Master word is wrong. In Scrum Guide, it is written that it is art to master, and people in 2 days they become Scrum Master. Well, they need to understand that as a tester, I mean, first we need to understand that actually Scrum Master does not have power. He should not have actually. Okay, and I mean to say, when you're in the biggest democracy, when Narendra Modi start his first speech saying that I am Pradhan Sevak and he's not Pradhan Mantri, how can your small team Scrum Master can be not, he should not be a facilitator, and he should be a leader or owner of the team. He should not be. Okay. Second is, I think a tester have more power. It depends upon what is your fraternity, what is your circle of influence. A tester have more power than a Scrum Master. So I would suggest, do not go for anything new like Scrum Master or product owner. Be in your zone, strengthen your strength to be expert in what you're doing, instead of trying with, let's go with Scrum Master because they have just need to present in meeting and all this stuff. Should not do. What Scrum Master do and how can you be Scrum Master, that's a different topic, and it's not a bad rule. Like every discipline or every you can say faculties, there is no negative point of choosing science over commerce over arts. In same way, there is no negative point of being Scrum Master over tester over developer. But yeah, if you are a tester and you spend quite significant time being a tester, like 10 12 years, there are still scope to be in testing and improve yourself, instead of trying a new thing like Scrum Master, which seems easy but it is not. That's what I would say.
Well, yeah, that's a beautiful comment. I just want to add something, okay? I don't know how many of you have exchanged emails with Pradeep Saundararajan. Pradeep Saundararajan is the CEO of Mulya Testing, and his email signature has a line: "Chief servant to employees and customers." That's his signature. Okay, and then he writes Mulya Testing. He doesn't write CEO at the bottom of his signature. He is the CEO, okay, by designation. But that's what he writes. So when his customer gets the email, or anybody who receives an email, he sees that. That is, and that is coming from within, from that mindset that you're doing, and the same thing, uh, holds good for people wanting to become Scrum Masters, just for that grip on that power that they want to have, or for that matter even product owners. I have spoken to a lot of testers. They say, oh, POs, they decide everything about the product. They are so powerful. So and then you ask people, they say, oh, I don't want to remain in testing anymore because there are no management roles. If you look at agile teams or DevOps teams, there are no management. So my question is, why do you want to get into management? Because I want to have that decision making power. I want to have that authority. That is the answer that a lot of people give. Okay, I want to feel powerful. That's a lot of times, the answer that comes. So from testing, it's people just want to go into something else. My question is, why not stick into testing and excel in that field? Become a super tester. You can grow and become a CTO, CEO. There's no limit. I know of testers who have gone on to become CEOs. I know of testers who are CTOs in their organizations, who are holding very important CIOs, chief information officers. They have a background in testing. I know people like that. So what's wrong with testing is the first question that I will ask. Why do you want, like Sachin said, why do you want to become a Scrum Master? What is it that is making you feel that the grass is greener on the other side?
Brijesh, I think I would like to add few things here. I think from the organization standpoint, right, there are few things to look at. Let's say there is a team and the industry is moving towards agile, safe agile, things like that. And so there are some companies who are hiring a dedicated Scrum Master to play only that role. And similarly, there are some companies who are looking for a person who can play the role of Scrum Master, which means that he has that potential, That person can be a developer or a tester, or he can be anyone. So if there is a potential for a tester beyond his testing skills, he can contribute to the project. He should be able to help the product owner to get requirement more clearly. At the same time, he can bring value to the testing or testing team to bring new technologies, new way of doing in testing, and also improving the process of the team, and try to make sure the team can become highly performing over a period of time. Then why not, right? Why not someone can get into Scrum Master or PO role? That's up to the tester. Like if I want to be stay only in testing, my interest is only on testing, then I agree to that point. Yes, we can excel in testing. But if there is a person who want to contribute more towards organization, both that person want to grow personally, professionally, and also want to contribute to the organization, then why not Scrum Master or product owner role, right? Now it's up to that person, like how he will manage. Like let's say I want to become Scrum Master and tester, how will I contribute to the Scrum Master role as well as tester? What's the balance? That is something which will evolve over a period of time, because I was initially only tester. I was contributing to functional automation testing and bit of performance testing, but eventually my manager and some leadership team, they told that you are good in process, you are good in helping team members, why can't you pick up even Scrum Master role? That time I just told, yeah, I will, let me try. So I just gave a shot, and I think that worked for me. So I was playing a role of Scrum Master as well as tester at least for 3 to 4 years.
Do you think
And yeah, that's a good thing.
so? That's a
Yeah,
good question. That's a good point that you brought in. Do you think that works, the dual role?
it depends on how much of workload is there in the team. Let's say, so I was in a team where there were good set of developers who were also had testing mindset. They were also contributing to the testing. Not only tester was doing the testing, tester was only driving testing, meaning starting from requirement, we used mind mapping to come up with all the scenarios, what to automate, what not to automate, what functional aspects and what not non-functional aspects needs to be tested. Now everyone knows what to test and how to test. So people were getting into testing. It was not only the tester doing it, entire team was doing the testing, and all these were discussed. We had bug bash, and some one day to do like exploratory testing. Starting business was participating, even technology team, everyone was finding bugs. It was not only testers responsibility to find bugs. So I think this actually made that shift, meaning it was only tester was not accountable for the bug, the entire team is accountable, because only tester will drive it, but entire team is also responsible.
So that's how you bring in the phrase that goes, the quality is everything. That's how you.
Correct.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Sachin. I read somewhere that Scrum Master is a full-time responsibility. Do you agree, Sachin?
Yes, of course, it is.
So what do you have to say about Guru's proposal of a dual role, Scrum Master plus tester, or Scrum Master plus developer, or Scrum Master plus DBA, whatever?
Uh, so first of all, I mean, if Guru, if you're doing it and you're doing it very efficiently, I think this is the perfect thing to have. Everybody needs someone. That's the ideal case. If somebody can just change his entire approach, just changing the hat. So I'm now wearing testing hat and I can think about testing, and now I'm wearing Scrum Master hat and I'm think about the entire Scrum team. It's difficult, but yeah, there if you're doing it, that's a great thing. I personally believe that you should not bring people to work. Instead, you should bring work to people. Meaning, if you have enough work, you should definitely have dedicated people to do it carefully, attentively, and thoroughly. Instead, you have a person who can do two things. So, uh, I mean, if I would be a leader of my team, I want my specialist to do I mean, I do not believe in all-rounders as a cricketer. I believe Bumrah is the best bowler and Sachin is the best batsman in the world. I don't want them to try anything. Sachin, just play your batting and do the best way you can. But there are all-rounders and they play very well and they turn games a lot of time. Still, it's just about how you want to enhance the skill set and utilize that person. But it's written in Scrum guide. It's always encouraged that you should always have a person who think from different perspective to improve your process. You should not have. I mean, what I've seen and the Jeff Sutherland give an example of Scrum Master is, if you've seen a music show, there is this guy who always do this hand up and down in front of 200 musicians, and I don't know what he do. That is Scrum Master. He does not play the violin. He controls the rhythm. If you want someone to control the rhythm of your team, he should not play any instrument. He should stand in front of everyone who is playing, and he should control that rhythm with his hands. And that's how this entire 200 and 500 musician can play it smoothly. And that's what Jeff Sutherland said, and that's what he recommends. But eventually, from organizational point of view, if you say that it is good to have one person playing two roles so that we can have some cost optimization and stuff, that can go wrong 99% time. But if 1% it goes right, that's a great thing to have. So I think it's not easy to find or do, but so that's why I recommend.
I will tell you what worked. I will tell you what probably worked in Guru's favor. It was the organization culture. That plays a very important part, because when you do an agile implementation, it is never top. It is never bottom up. You can't start with a project and then go higher up and say, okay, let's do a POC in this project and see if we can implement agile practices or bring in Scrum or whatever, and see if it works. It has to be top down. It has to be driven by the management. Everybody has to understand that they have a role to play, that they are very clear about what objectives are, and like, Guru explicitly mentioned that everybody used to get involved in testing. So it was not just for the testers to do something, but everybody has a thing to do. Well, I see Dimpy, Riddhi, Mahesh joining. Welcome, guys. I hope you all are doing well. Well, Dimpy, a question straight for you. Okay, I am a tester with good automation skills, reasonable automation skills. How can I become a test architect?
I'm hearing these questions from actually many people.
So please.
Online, offline.
So yeah, please go ahead, take a shot.
Well, architect is just a role, right? It is not something, So as an architect also, you have to do testing only. So end of the day, even till now, I am doing testing only. But I can share a few things like the way I started my career journey. So I started as a functional tester, and within maybe 1 year, I was moved to development, like mobile application development. And after maybe 3 years, again I moved to testing. But that time, so that gave me some grip in the entire application, like both like the front end, you can say the front end, back end, the complete end-to-end system. So as a developer, I was able to understand what is actually happening behind the scene. And then I could realize like, okay, I started with testing, moved to development, but my interest is always actually in the testing field, like finding the critical defects. So I decided to move into testing again. But again, yeah, they put me in the automation only. So basically, since I was more inclined to a technical role, or the hands-on role. So I choose to be in that. And then I started, building my technical side of the things, like maybe learning the coding more. And then how can I actually see, my interest was to find more defect in the application, not to do just automation. Because very soon in my career journey I realized that automation only cannot solve testing problems. But there are many people in the industry who actually thinks that automation, just do automate and all our things will fall in place. But that is not the reality actually. And thank God that I realized that in early stage of my career, like there are a lot of things to solve in the testing which we cannot do just using automation. So if you learn a coding, right, so if you learn a language, learn that language not just from an automation point of view, but learn that language so that you can understand your product better. Okay, so for example, like, so many people says, I know Java, I know Selenium, I know Rest Assured or blah, 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 blah things, but I'm doing manual testing. I'm not happy, right? My suggestion would be, like, if you're doing manual testing, why don't you use your Java knowledge in manual testing?
Correct.
So use your knowledge. See, don't learn the language just because you see the market. Okay, everyone is looking for Java Selenium skill set. So you have to learn that. There is no doubt about it. Without that, you cannot survive in the industry. But learn that technology to make your product better. If you're doing functional testing, use your Java language skills to find more defect from the code. If you're lucky enough, if your code base, your product is built using Java, you should be go deeper into that. You can even tell the developer, like, okay, I reported this defect and this is because of this line number. That actually give you more value addition and more respect in your team. And that's how, like, I started building myself and my I started building my skills in that lines. Like, how can I actually read more code? How can I understand what is happening behind the scene, so that if I report some issue, right, I should be able to in a state to tell the developer this issue is because of this. Maybe not like 100%, but at least 70 to 80%. So in that way, even I feel I'm lucky enough, like I always got into technical side of the product development. And I jumped from maybe directly from test engineer to test architect role. That was maybe I was lucky enough. But yeah, so I do my background, my homework always, like whenever I am into any project. So I would see like what is the technology, then I try to learn that. Not in a sense like, okay, I have to automate it, but I want to make my product better.
I think that's wonderfully put. You it obviously helps you if you talk to the developers in the language that they understand, and if that is the language in which they have coded for the product, nothing like it. I mean, if the product code base is in Java and you think you know Java, and you speak to them and you are able to go inside the code and talk about it and say, okay, you know what, this particular line number seems to have an issue. Can we take a look at it together? Well, they'll be more happy because as a tester, you're contributing much more than just spotting a bug. You're actually helping them analyze it, debug it, and probably fix it even. So that's very well said, Dimpy. Another question that I get, and I see Mahesh here, so I'm going to ask this to you, Mahesh. As a tester, I'm seeing everything is moving towards cloud. How do I upskill? What do I do? What are the things that I can do, and how can I gain expertise in that area, Mahesh?
Brijesh. Hi, everybody. Firstly, sorry I've been away from Test Chat for the last couple of days and weeks. All to do with COVID, because I've been closely working with NGO, where I do as much help as I can, like arranging for oxygen beds, arranging for cylinders, arranging for remdesivir, help in every possible way.
Thank
That's
you
what
so
is
much,
keeping me.
Mahesh. Thank you so much. We need more and more people like you. Thank you for doing whatever you have been doing. So no qualms about you being away from Test Chat, but helping the greater community. That's so heartening to hear. Thank you so much.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the situation is pretty bad, especially in Bangalore right now. And any support anybody can provide, that's of great help to the entire Bangaloreans and the community here. So that's where we have been joining hands, we've been collaborating and doing a lot of work, but still there's a lot more to go. Okay, I'll not really dive into that. But like Dimpy said, manual testing is not just manual testing. For example, with everything that we are doing with COVID today, right? One of the activity that we have to continuously do is validating many of the numbers that's been floating around. Are they valid? Do they really work? The situation right now is so dynamic that an hospital which has bed right now would not have hospital bed if you call up after half an hour, right? So things are so dynamically changing, right? So that's very hard to use your testing hat and see, how could I validate? How could I test this, right? So manual testing again is just not, doing something without having to use your, brains, tools, or whatnot. I mean, that's where you try to think, what are the best ways to, automate this, right? I mean, how could we quickly validate something like a phone numbers, or how will you think out of the box to make sure the data is authentic, right? Uh, so going back to the cloud, now again, cloud. People think from their from purely from a remuneration perspective, right? If I learn cloud, if I get certification on cloud, I would get more salary. I would get a better job. I mean, no, nothing wrong in that. But learn whatever you learn. Basically, what I mean is, learn anything and everything, so that you could actually apply on day-to-day basis, and also how that is going to be very useful when you are doing testing. Uh, for example, if you want to carry out testing on cloud today, it's very important that you understand how different pieces in the cloud fit together, how they actually work, right? Right from having a bird's eye view of the entire architecture in terms of how a product gets deployed is very critical for any testers. How an application is deployed on WebLogic, Tomcat, where is it deployed? Is it deployed on a standalone EC2 machine, or is it deployed on a container, or is it deployed on elsewhere, right? And also how would that connect with your backend, and how would that interact with other components like database or microservices? You basically need to understand everything, because uh, when you understand how different components fit in together, how they actually interact, then you will be able to come up with better test ideas. How could I test this? What would happen if I don't test it out this way, right? What would happen if I introduce this idea of testing, right? So the testability would really uh, vary based on how you would understand the components, how they all fit in together and everything, right? So again, I mean, cloud is vast. People jump into cloud, thinking that it's going to get better salary. It's going to get better designation, right? I mean, like I said, everybody wants good money. Everybody wants better designation. I mean, nothing wrong in that. But do everything with with love, with passion, right? I mean, when you put a little bit of love and passion into what you do, I mean, you can do wonders. You will have a long lasting journey into that, right? Like I said, cloud is really, really vast. So plan, how we want to venture into cloud. Try to start from the very basics of cloud. Understand, what does cloud mean for a tester, right? uh, like you all keep saying, it's nothing like manual testing. I mean, testing is just one component, but when you start doing testing, you come up with an idea, right? When you come up with an idea, how do you, introduce automation into that? Whether it's Selenium, whether it's Python, or whether it's Ruby or Perl, whatever it is, right? For example, when me and James back, work on a lot of these test sessions, right? What we typically do is, we pick up some random thing to test, right? So once we start picking up some random thing to test, we talk about, test ideas, what to test, what not to test, how to go about testing, right? So once we start doing that, automation is the last thing that we would think of. We would just look at the product and keep discussing, brainstorming. How do we test it, right? So once we start getting test ideas, I mean, writing code to automate is no big deal. I've seen, personally, James says that he's not a good. I mean, I would say James is a better developer, or equally good at development. I mean, if you tell him to, write Perl scripts to automate something, he'll do it in a couple of minutes and hours. I mean,
Yes,
that's
I
the
know.
beauty of a test.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of testers. I mean, testing. I mean, testers should not really look at automate. I mean, you look at how do you test a product, and automatically, start writing code, to build automation around it. So
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so. A lot of people get lost in certain tool chain or whatever, and they get lost there. That I have to learn Selenium, and then I have to learn from integration with Cucumber or whatever. Okay, they get lost in that chain, and then they are thinking purely from test cases perspective. Instead, if they start thinking, how can I make my testing more efficient? And is there something that I can do? I can write a simple shell script. That is also automation, right? I can, to speed up
yeah,
things, I can write simple shell scripts, and that will help me in making me more efficient in terms of testing. That is also automation. If we start thinking in that direction, I think life would become much more easier. I want to take advantage of Riddhi also being in the call. Now, Riddhi, um, first of all, welcome to the call. I know, Riddhi, you've worked a lot in the freelancing space. Now, there's a question that I get often. Okay, how can I be a tester, a freelancing tester? You've done that a lot. So, what are your tips?
Hi everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much, Brijesh. Yeah, actually, if I talk about freelancing in testing, I would say I started my journey as a freelancer long back uh, as a developer. Initially, I was a developer and I started freelancing different projects in development. And due to family reason, I took some break. And then again in 2016, I came across one nice website, crowdsourcing platform utest.com.
Yeah.
So initially, to be frank, I was not much interested in testing. To be frank, I was not knowing what is testing. I was thinking just it's a simple thing and anyone can do. That was my thought process. And but I was interested technical side. I didn't. I just took advantage of my short time what I used to get from my personal after doing my personal work. So I started looking at utest.com, and slowly I got interest and I got to know that what exactly testing is. And it's a deep, I must say, it's a deep, if you dive into it, it's awesome. And then I really got interested and started learning mobile application testing. Mainly I worked on functional testing, either web application or mobile application. So with the in the U-test, I used to get the invitation of different device testing. So at each invitation, I started exploring like how to work with logs. There are also different techniques of collecting logs, and that's how like slowly I developed interest and almost worked for 4 years in U-test, and worked on different mobile application, different web application, and the journey is still going on. So now I'm completely into functional testing, and recently started moving to automation also. It's like a continuous journey, Brijesh.
Yeah, thank you so much, Riddhi. I think that's good. So
That's how I got more.
So I have been a gold level tester with UTest, so I know exactly what Riddhi is talking about, and it is a fun
Yeah.
experience. Plus, you make a lot of money out of it, so a reasonable amount of money, not a lot.
I
Sorry.
must say India it's bit less with U-test. What you are earning bit less compared to if you work in USA or UK.
Yeah. No, I was.
Yeah, but
I
the
was
thing
very
is
much in India, Riddhi, at that point of time when I.
initially correct. Then you must have earned a lot.
Not a lot, but yeah.
I have a question, Brijesh and Riddhi. So
Yeah.
suppose someone wants to start freelancing, right? So how much time, on average, do you think, needed?
Must say initially if you are able to provide at least 3 hours a day, it will be really helpful.
Yeah, begin start small. 2 to 3 hours a day is what I would also recommend, because I also started like that. Well, since we are we want to take more questions. There is a question that has come from Amit, and Amit is asking me. When it comes to testing, Amit feels that most people talk about functional API performance, and very few people talk about security. And Rakesh is sitting there and probably smiling, listening to the question. So Rakesh, this question is for you. Uh, uh, is security a very niche skill? Is it a road less taken? Is security testing hard to learn?
See, every, you can say, skill has its own path, right? So what I'm trying to say is security is hard and it is easy as well. It depends on what bug classes you are actually looking and on which particular area in security you are trying to look out for issues. Like you're talking about web security, you're talking about Android, you're talking about iOS, you're talking about cloud, you're talking about infrastructure, right? There are so many diverse things. So it is easy, it is difficult. So it all depends basically in the end. If we are talking about web applications, you can say how easy or how difficult the bugs are to be found will depend upon how well the application is coded. It is same as functional testing. So yes, if I compare it with functional, since I have more experience in functional testing, right? So I'll say it is difficult if compared with functional, but there are people who are doing it and they are doing it very well. And if you are putting the proper efforts, I don't think so. It is very difficult to learn, because I am also from a functional background. But yes, at sometimes it can be frustrating, to be honest, when you are starting and if you're not finding bugs, because the point is, since security is maturing, the products are maturing as well. Now the security is implemented on the framework level as well, right? So now if you go back to like in the starting of early years, right, SQL injection was a very common vulnerability. But nowadays there are web application firewalls in place, right? Now the web app frameworks, they have security built in it itself, so that even if the developers are not code using, you can say, secure practice at some level, you can say security is also is there even if the developers haven't done anything. So the secure you can say prevention mechanisms are getting more mature. It is difficult, but yeah, if you compare it to functional testing, it is difficult, to be honest. But yes, if you put it in the efforts, you definitely get results, but yeah, it will take some time.
So
And why we are talking.
So Rakesh, where do I get started?
And
how do I get started with security testing? How can I
the
start?
OWASP project, Brijesh. Just have a look at the OWASP project. That is the basic. From there, if you don't understand what is written over there, just try to Google it. And as I said yesterday in my interview, different people have different ways of learning. Some people can learn by Googling only. Some have to take some courses, right? Some have to take some training from the instructor. So there is no hard and fast rule for learning. Do follow the path which works best for you, and only you can answer for it, right? And there is one platform, Pen Tester Lab. You can take a subscription of them. I think they have monthly as well as annual plan. And if you want to take the help of a learning platform, I'll say. So that is a good platform. But in a nutshell, if you compare it with functional, it is a bit difficult. But I think if you have proper, you can say, put in proper effort, it is not difficult to learn.
Can add two quick things there to that, Brijesh.
Yes, ma'am.
With the so-called non-functional testing, right, like performance, security, why do people not take that up? I mean, two reasons. One is, people always want, quick fixes. They want to, learn something quickly and earn something quickly, right? I mean, that's the big problem. And, performance testing, security testing are, in a way vast compared to, other, automation testing like Selenium. Like Rakesh mentioned, security testing is vast. I mean, it comes to networking, it comes to, your actual code, it comes to your firewall, it comes to a lot more than this. Likewise, performance also, right? I mean, you'll have to deal with application server, database server, networks, code, filing tools, scripting tools. So it's kind of vast. And you will have to blame it on people as well, because people are not willing to take up opportunities when there are opportunities. I mean, people sometimes complain that they don't have opportunities. But for example, in my company right now, there are openings on performance and security, but nobody is willing to come forward and take up those opportunities, right? So you'll have to both blame it on people, and also I would definitely blame it on people firstly, because they have to come forward, grab that opportunity, get started somewhere. I mean, everything is going to get tough, but once you start learning and take the right mentoring, the road is going to be much smoother. That's my take.
And just one more thing, in case of security, I won't say about performance because I don't have that experience. But in case of security, knowing a concept is one thing, and finding that vulnerability is a different thing. As of now, I know about what is remote code execution, but till now I haven't found a single RC vulnerability. So knowing a concept is one thing, and actually finding that vulnerability is a different thing altogether. So yes, I agree with Mahesh that it's a people as well as it's a people issue as well.
Well, Mahesh did a very nice job at work. So if anybody is looking for an opportunity and you are interested in performance or security, please talk to Mahesh. And what's more, you get the opportunity to work with him, so nothing like it. Yeah. Riddhi has a question in the chat. I'm curious to know, once you get in good experience of functional testing, is it good to go ahead with API testing? Is it really difficult to learn? Uh, Anyone wants to take that question?
API testing is definitely not hard to learn. I mean, nothing is hard to learn. I mean, that would be my opinion. It's all that you will have to decide what you want to do, right? Do you want more money? Do you want a bright career? Do you want quick money? Right? I mean, jokes apart, lay down, what you really want to do, right? Once you lay down what you really want to do, then it's very easy for you to, start, thinking what route you have to take up, right? It could be API testing or it could be performance security or whatnot, right? Somewhere everybody has to start with the basics. Again, coming back to specifically on API testing, right? I mean, API testing, again, people have to start with the basics of understanding, API testing, what is API, how do they actually work, where do APIs get implemented, and how do people leverage APIs, and with microservices these days, everybody are building, moving from monolith to microservice based architecture. So again, there's a lot of avenues and openings for opportunities for API testing. Lot of tools, again, if you want to talk about, like ranging from Postman, Smartware, Postman, and and you'll also have to start looking at like contract testing, mocking things, stubbing. There's a lot. I mean, again, API testing is going to get vaster and vaster, as you go deep into that. So, like I said, you will have to decide what your goals and vision are. So once you start laying them down, it would become more clear, which path you will have to take.
Sure, Mahesh. Thank you so much. One more question. If suppose want to start as an API tester, from where to start? I mean, seeing lots of content, so it's getting confused
If I
sometimes. Yeah.
if I remember correctly, somebody had posted a blog where it had every bit of details on API testing. Where to
Yes.
start. Yeah. Do you have that, or I can forward? I think I have stored it somewhere.
Sure. I'll just check it. I think in LinkedIn, I can
Yeah. If you
find it.
don't have it, DM me. I'll forward it to you.
Sure. Okay.
Mahesh, it's a good idea if you can put it in the TTC group.
Yeah. And also one thing what I do is personally, let me share my screen. So this might be useful for other people as well.
Yeah, just a moment. Let me make sure that you can share it. Yeah, you can.
Okay. So can you see my desktop?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a tool called Zotero. James back introduced me to this tool. So basically this tool is nothing. I mean, it's like your database. You could, start creating like a new collection. For example, API testing, automation testing, books to read, right? Then you can start, putting all your documents, blog posts, and
Yes.
everything, so that that itself will become a personalized database for you, which you could, go back and refer, and also start, laying out a path so that you could follow the path. For example, API testing, you could lay down a path so that you could start following up steps 1, 2, 3, 4 until 10 to make you a good API tester.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mahesh, just to add on top of what Mahesh said, so if you are following people on Twitter, right, and they have shared some resource, so the quick way of saving it is it as in your bookmarks, Twitter bookmark, so that you don't lose access to that article. So I think that is.
That's a good idea, and Zotero is a tool that James obviously recommends. He recommended to.
So Mahesh, this is a web-based tool, or just it has to be set up on your system? So
it's a desktop-based
Okay.
application. You can also sync up so that for example, if you find it has a Chrome plugin as well, if you find something interesting, you can quickly move that to Zotero from Chrome.
Okay, nice. Thanks, Mahesh, for sharing that.
Yeah, there was another question from Riddhi. She's hearing a lot about performance testing, load testing, penetration testing, and a few more similar words or say types of performance testing. She would like to know, is it performance of website or app, or how vast performance testing is, and how to start learning performance testing. Who wants to
I
talk
can
about it?
answer if nobody wants to
Yeah,
take that
yeah,
up.
Mahesh, please go ahead.
So, performance testing is definitely a very, very vast subject. For somebody to start on performance, right? Firstly, they will have to start, understanding the application architecture, right? People have to know what do you mean by a web server, what do you mean by an application server, what is Tomcat, what is WebLogic. They need to understand, what is a database, how does it communicate, right? I mean, firstly, you need to have good understanding of the architecture, what makes a product, what are the different components and everything. And next comes the scripting tools. We call them scripting tools because they will help you to write a script that is required to pump the load. Load runner is one of the famous scripting tool, and likewise you have Neoload, JMeter, WebLoad, tools from SmartBear, tools from IBM, Grinder. So there are a lot of tools. So having a good hold on scripting tool is very, very important. Again, you should be able to script on various protocols. Again, there are various protocols that we work with, like API protocol, web-based protocol, Winsock protocol, SAP protocol. So there are a lot of protocols that we work with. What kind of protocol we should work, again, depends on the application architecture. So once you have a good understanding of scripting tools, what you do is you will start running your load test. So you should be able to learn, design workload mixes. Like for example, if I had to run an hour test, what kind of workload should I design? How many users should we have? How much data is needed, right? So after that, you start, learning about the monitoring tools. Like monitoring tools, there are a lot of monitoring tools like App Dynamics, Datadog, Visual VM, JRocket, and a lot more of them. So monitoring is important because you need to understand, what's going on when you're running the load test. If CPU goes up to 100%, what could be wrong? Or if your memory is at 80%, what's going on? Or if your IO is too high, what is happening? Likewise, monitoring is not restricted to one component. It starts from app server, DB server, all the way to database and even networking. So you should be able to monitor. And apart from monitor, you should be able to analyze the results also. Analyzing the result is like investigation, like how policeman or CID would investigate. Once you have all the data, you should start looking at investigating. Where is the problem, right? So you would have all the reports. You would have reports from application server, database server, from your load testing tools, from your networking tools. So once you have everything, you start analyzing, where is the problem. So for that, you need to analyze, you need to have good hold of profiling tools. Like again, profiling tools like JProbe or JRocket, App Dynamics, Datadog. There are a lot of tons and tons of profiling tools. I mean, more or less, it's similar way they function. I mean, just like how Selenium or any other tools works, it works in a similar way. But you need to understand how profiling tools work. What you have to read, how to really understand the metrics that's coming out of that, right? So once you are good at analyzing, you will start analyzing where is the problem and start identifying the problem. Again, analyzing varies. I mean, you should be good at analyzing on the app server. You should be good at analyzing, for example, Oracle AWR reports, Oracle StatsPack report, or other reports on the database, and also networking. You should be able to analyze. Uh, so these are some of the steps for you to get started on performance testing. If you want, I can make a list or create stepwise 1, 2, 3, 4 to tell that would help you to get started.
That would be awesome, Mahesh. If you could do that. This
Yeah.
was really insightful.
Thank you so much.
There is a question from Guru. He wants to know the insights around approach for cross-platform mobile SDK testing. Who wants to take a shot at that one? Dimpy?
Yeah, I can tell. Even I have not done, but have some ideas actually. So basically, there's a difference between the SDK testing and your app testing. For example, right, you are testing Android phone. So you will not be testing the application built using Android. You will be testing basically the Android entire SDK. So here, since you have mentioned it is a cross-platform, so you can take example of maybe Xamarin, which is provide cross-platform support. So you have to basically test the SDK functionalities here. So SDK will be having core components, for example, right? So which when you build an application top of the SDK, so you will use those core functionalities, maybe in the form of an API or any other way. So basically, you have to identify the core functionalities of the SDK and test it, and you have to make sure, like that is not broken across the different applications you are basically, which we are going to build top of it. You are is suppose providing a functionality to get a file from the file system. So that functionality should work consistently across all the platforms. This is just an example. The next thing is like how the SDK is actually providing support for different versions of your mobile app. For example, the Xamarin is actually providing support for Android only 0.4 onwards, version 4 onwards. So, and for maybe iOS, it is giving only 10 onwards, just an example. So you have to make sure like that bit of functionality has been working across all the supported platforms. Your test strategy will be actually huge here. So you have to look for all the core functionalities. You have to even look for your supported different platforms and how actually those two are not working together as a close in a close environment. So I didn't API testing is one, and UI testing may not come into picture here until and unless there is some specific UI related stuff you need to do. Mostly, I think you have to do the testing in the backend.
Well, that's a very comprehensive answer. I think, Guru, that answers your question. Okay. So Balaji has a question, maybe for you, Rakesh. How to
actually, I saw that question earlier, but Balaji, but I don't have desktop-based application experience. So maybe I can just search for it and see if I can get some information for you.
Okay, thanks.
Just to,
Actually, I'm
just to
needing it
add,
for my current project.
Yeah, Dimpy wants to add something.
Yeah, so you have to even take care of your security and performance of the SDKs. Security performance features also. That is very important here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Balaji, you were saying something?
Yes, actually, I'm searching for things related to do some security testing for desktop-based applications, but I'm not getting any
Have you spoken
proper
to
information regarding that.
Santosh yet? Santosh
Yes, I have mailed him, but I mailed him long back, but I forgot to have him in touch. That's the problem. So I'll contact him again, and but I would like to know
Email doesn't
because
work with him. Email doesn't work with him. Twitter works with him best.
Okay.
I'll also try to search Balaji and see if I can
like
get
Rakesh
something.
said, if
Yeah.
you want to reach testers, try Twitter. That is the fastest way of getting them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for this info.
Email doesn't go so well. Okay, Siddqui has a question, and I want to understand more about automation architect role. What is the path? What is the skill set required? Dimpy?
Yeah, so you have to be very strong in coding. You need to understand design as well. So by design, I mean like in a typical product, there will be minimum 3 kind of designs. So one is the UX design, which is the base. You have to understand how your UI or UX has been designed. Next thing is your UX design is used in the front end, and then there will be backend design is your servers or API designs that you need to understand. And third thing is your database design. So if suppose your application is data centric, then you will be having a different schema designs also, and models also. So basically that understanding of design, understanding of code, as well as understanding of the testing fundamentals can help you actually grow into that line.
That was helpful. Finally, I think we've crossed our time limit. So any closing remarks on the careers and career choices and career paths? Let's do a round. Let's go round with everybody. Balaji, let's start with you.
Yes, for me it was really informative from the start itself. I've gathered more notes during the discussion, so it was really great. I can say that I have decided that I would like to move towards security testing because I felt it is more challenging. That's what I am, because my mind is going for finding more bugs. So I think I need to improve my testing skill set to find more security bugs. So that's the thought it was running in my mind. So I think this discussion really helped me a lot how to progress on that.
Rakesh left the call. He would have been very happy. All right, Siddqui,
Yeah.
what do you think of this conversation?
So this is my first time I had a connect with the team. So when I saw the message, I wrote down 2 questions, which I luckily got the answer in this session. One is click for the Scrum Master role, and another is for the architect role, because my background is totally into the automation and coding, and my mentor told me to go for the automation architect role. So I was just looking for the information where I can collect this stuff. So I think I should join this call frequently. And thank you, Brijesh, for this one. It's helped me a lot.
All right, awesome. Guru?
Yeah, Brijesh, I think even I joined this call for the first time. I think I attended some larger events, but not this Connect or Meetup. I think lot many takeaways from here. I think different point of view from different people about the same question. I think few of the answers were kind of eye opener for me, and I think a few tools we got to know today, right? About Zotero and about mobile SDK performance, test architect role, all of that. I think after this meetup, I can explore few things and learn. And I think in future I will try to attend these events.
Awesome. Mahesh?
I mean, my 2 cents on the whole career thing would be, nothing is impossible, right? Whatever you love doing, whatever is your passion, just pick up. Things will fall in place. It could be finding a mentor, it could be finding the right resources, or it could be, anything to do to get there, right? I mean, just think what you want to do and just keep following your heart.
Awesome. Dimpy, did Dimpy just drop? I was going to ask her, but I think.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Somebody dropped. Balaji, I think. Okay. Anyways, Dimpy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, in India now situation is not so great. I mean, although physically we are okay, but yeah, there are a lot of mental, pressure on people. So we have to actually keep our life moving and see how we can actually proceed, because a lot of people are jobless, right? And a lot of people are in pain. We are seeing our near and dear ones in pain. So keep our mental balance at this point of time is important. So working plus helping others, as Mahesh is also doing a lot of good work in that side. So we have to continue the same.
Yes, awesome, and thank you for joining, Dimpy, and sharing your insights. I think this call was basically set up with the idea of just getting people in one place and talk about stuff, talk about life in general, how are things going, and if they need any help. And some questions around career kept coming at me. People kept asking these sort of questions, so I said, okay, let's pick up this topic, because in general we would have conversations around mental health and other stuff, but since a lot of questions that I got were around subjects of career, because a lot of people are in that situation right now or are facing challenges, so I thought this is a good subject. So thank you, Nimpi, for joining in. Anupam, what did you think?
Hello, yeah, yes. Yes, this is a very informative session, and I would like to say thanks to each and everybody. They are giving me so much knowledge and what I say, gyan for us. So for the career perspective and for the future perspective also, because many people think that texting is the not they are come here the wrong side maybe, but at least if they come wrongly or they are not interested in that in the early stage, but if they have the attitude for the learning, then they can achieve anything what they want. So this is a very good opportunity for me to join this thing.
Absolutely, thank you so much for joining. Nikhil.
Hi Brijesh, thanks for these sessions, and actually it is the more informative sections. I know that there is these things, the roadmap for the performance or the security or the API testing, which you are looking for the many times or the right path. I have get some answer from these sessions, and I am looking forward to learn the more tools, those we are not aware about or not much knowledge about the tools. So this is the great session for me also.
Awesome. Sachin.
Yep. I mean, I just missed the last session, but I this meetup session, and I like them. Why? Because if you are reading or if you are learning from anything, you do not have chance to ask why, what, how. And here, when you are interacting with people like Mahesh, Dimpy, and when they are guiding on with their experience, you can ask whatever you want. So it's definitely a great thing to have. And I also request whoever has joined, if they can just spread this and ask other people to join, because that will help them as well. And so that we'll have more interaction and so more knowledge. So yeah, I think it's good to have, and we should keep adding more people into this.
Thank you, Sachin. I was going to make that request myself. Thank you for doing that. Amit.
Hey, hi everyone. It's just not this session, actually. The entire community test chat is so much helpful. So I usually, whenever I get time, I go to the Telegram channel and I start reading the history. Basically, I do this especially almost every day in the late nights. So much of information is present, so much of knowledge is being shared by many people. So basically, I have to thank each and everyone in this community because I have learned a lot. It has benefited me a lot. So I have learned, so I have unlearned so many stuff, and I have relearned many things. So in fact, with this learning, I am also trying to educate my team members at my company, and maybe with the best practices, or trying to burst the myths around the testing. And so sessions like this is really helpful. So I have also got so many friends to test chat community, as well as I've asked them to subscribe for the YouTube channel as well, because it is
I was going to So me being greedy, I was going to ask you to add some more people.
I already did that, Brijesh. I'm still doing it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Riddhi?
Hey, hi, Brijesh. Actually, I joined second time, but I'm like every time whenever I join, I have to leave within 10-15 minutes. But today somehow, like I managed to complete the session, and it is really awesome. I would recommend like every time it should keep going. And yeah, definitely, I would like to share in my network so that many people get advantage of this kind of sessions. And I'm like greedy for knowledge. So from TTC group, I just like I must say every time whenever I read the messages, I just save it in my desk hard disk and just keep working for it. Whenever I getting time, I keep looking out for the such messages as well as a drive, which is very helpful.
Well, one thing that
Thank
I
you
want
so
to
much.
tell, one thing that I want to mention about Riddhi is Riddhi was working till about 2 a.m. yesterday also, because that's when we had a chat. She was online. And she's here in the call. Riddhi, thank you so much. So can all of you for a brief moment switch on your cameras? I just want to take a group pic if you don't mind. Sachin, Mahesh.
मेरा गर्म पानी रख दो, somebody is saying.
Mahesh. I know Mahesh looks like this only, but okay, I got one shot. Anyways, well, thank you everyone for joining. This was good. A lot of people had to leave early. We went a little over time. It was supposed to be till 12:30, but you guys took around, stood there, stuck around. Something happening with my English. So so thank you everyone. We hope to connect again next week, and we'll have more questions. We'll keep these career conversations going. Okay, we will make this as the central theme and talk about other subjects as well. Thank you, Dimpy, Mahesh, Riddhi,
Thank you.
Sachin, for your expert comments. Seema also was there, so she had to leave. Uh, you know, it is great to have such you guys come in and through all this experience. Rakesh was there to share thoughts on security. So Mahesh, like you said, if you find time, apart from all that good work that you're doing for the community, if and whenever you find time, if you could just put together that document that could guide people on performance, it would be really awesome. On that note, thank you everyone. Have a good Sunday and enjoy the rest of the week. See you around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Brijesh.
Bye.
Thank you, Brijesh. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.